2025 was without doubt one of the strangest years in athletics that I can remember. Both on and off the track, there seemed to be a never-ending cycle of some kind of dysfunction, strange money problems, crazy world records going down, and performances that were honestly way faster than anyone could have ever predicted. From Cooper Lukenhaus running arguably the greatest teenage world record of all time, to Faith Kipyegon again breaking the 1500 world record, to Noah Lyles and Kenny Bednarek having their 200-meter beef made public for the world to see, there was always something interesting to look forward to in 2025. But one of the more unexpected and certainly surprising moments of the season was the continued absence of Jakob Ingebrigtsen from Norway. Now, coming into this year's outdoor campaign, Jakob could not have been positioned better. He broke the world indoor record for the mile at 3:45. He broke the world record for the indoor 1500 en route to his 1 mile effort. He was the world indoor champ in the 1500, and he was also the world indoor champ over the 3000. And circling back to his indoor mile of 3:45, this scored 1,330 points on the World Athletics scoring table, making it the single highest scoring mark in running history. It really seemed as though there was just no stopping this Norwegian great once again, given his incredibly consistent and also undefeated indoor season. But then, seemingly out of nowhere, Jakob was sidelined with an Achilles injury that saw him miss the majority of this year's outdoor season. For months and months on end, Jakob seemed as though he was about to run over the next couple of weeks. There was a few races that he possibly was set to run in, and then come the Diamond League final, there was rumors that he was set to run in that as well. But sadly, he did not toe the line until the World Outdoor Champs in Tokyo. And given that he was out for so long, his running was just not there, as he failed to qualify out of the heats in the 1500, and he just barely scraped into the final in the 5000, but then he ultimately placed 10th in 13:02. As the defending Olympic champion in the 5000 and the fastest 1500 athlete in the world since 2015, Jakob was set to challenge some of the all-time quickest marks in the world this season. However, given his circumstances, this just did not happen. After this massive disappointment at Worlds, Jakob spoke about how he simply had to run. He had to test the waters of his fitness on the world's biggest stage, and given that this was the global final, he would have regretted not trying. I have followed Jakob's career for years, and seeing him struggle this much on a global stage was definitely not something I saw coming in 2025. However, these three performances in the 1500 and the 5000 just might have been exactly what Jakob Ingebrigtsen needed. Because while there was a reason that he did not run so well, he was clearly upset. And just like we have seen various times in the past, he has used this shortcoming as a springboard for very bold predictions. And if he can run the times that he has just stated, this would make him arguably the greatest all-around runner of all time. In a recent interview with a Norwegian news outlet, Ingebrigtsen stated that in 2026, he wants to break the 1500 world record of Hicham El Guerrouj, he wants to break the 1 mile record, also from Hicham El Guerrouj, and he also wants to break the 5,000 meter world record of Joshua Cheptegei. Now, it's not surprising that Jakob is making such solid plans to attack these all-time marks next season, but it is somewhat surprising to see him be this direct about breaking all three in one season. So far in this 25-year-old's career, Jakob has broken world records for the indoor mile, the indoor 15, the 3,000 meters, the 2,000 meters, and the 2 mile distance. Right now, Jakob has a total of 5 world records to his name, and considering that he has stated various times that he wants to own 10 total records to his name throughout his career, he has officially reached the halfway point. But reaching 8 total records by the end of 2026 would be something that would place him alongside some of the best track athletes to ever compete. And given this incredibly lofty prediction for 2026, the question needs to be asked: what exactly are the odds of Jakob reaching the very top in these 3 highly competitive events? And how fast could he run if he has no injury and no training setbacks? Well, first, let's start with a record that has the highest likelihood of falling, and that is without doubt the 5,000 meters. Now for this event, Joshua Cheptegei currently holds the 5K record as he ran a time of 12:35.36 back in August of 2020. This record has now stood for just over 5 years, and while nobody has broken it, many have gotten quite close, as both Agos Gebrewet and Yomif Kejelcha from Ethiopia have both broken 12:40, and in addition to these runners, there has also been a total of 12 total runners that have broken 12:45, and in total 7 of these top 12 come after 2020. Now, Jakob's personal best currently stands at 12:48, but this goes all the way back to 2021, when he was only 20 years old. Now, this is still a very impressive time, but if we go back to 2021, we can see that Jakob's best clocking in the 3000 was only 7:33, and his best time achieved over the 1 mile distance was 3:47. Now, a 7:33 and 3:47 are still very quick times, but considering that Jakob has now improved in the 3000 by 16 more seconds, and he's also lowered his mile PB down to 3:43, we can see that his abilities have improved drastically since 2021. And given that Jakob has not competed in a fast 5K since this 2021 race, it is obvious that this 12:48 is way slower than what he is really capable of running. Now, if we take Jakob's World Athletic scores in the 3000 and the 1 mile run indoors, which he did this season, we can use an average score of 13:25 for the two. And if we take this score and move it over to the 5000, we can see that his potential expected clocking is 12:29.37 seconds. Now, this would be insane, and it's probably slightly faster than what Jakob will aim for if he goes for the record, but then again, I did not think that Jakob's 2 mile potential would put him all the way down to 7:54, and I also certainly did not expect a 3000 PB of 7:17, and that took down the Mount Everest of world records from Daniel Komen, whose 7:20 has stood since 1996. If Jakob maintains solid fitness, has no injuries, and could simply execute on the day, I think there is no question that he has world record potential over the 5000. And while this record will certainly be difficult, it will be a huge challenge to break the 1 mile record, which currently stands at 3:43.13. If we go back to 1999, we can see Hicham El Guerrouj achieving this world record, and he also achieved it by racing against Noah Ngeni, who ran a time of 3:43 as well. This time has now stood for the better part of 3 decades, making it one of the longest standing world records in all of distance running. And considering that Jakob is now only 0.6 seconds behind this record, it is possible, but he will also have to have extremely solid fitness and sharp speed on the day. For anyone that's followed Jakob's career, it is no secret that he is known more as a distance runner and not exactly as a huge kicker. Now, he certainly can throw down some impressive speed over the final 800 or even 400, but he doesn't exactly have the lightning quick finishes that we've seen from Cole Hawker or even from Jimmy Gressier. If Jakob wants to achieve a time faster than 3:43, he will need to put on some incredible speed for the following season. And that brings us to the final world record that Jakob will need to have near perfection to achieve, and that is the 1500 record of El Guerrouj at 3:26.00. Now for this record, Jakob currently stands 0.73 seconds behind, and considering that he has raced in various 1500s pretty much every season since 2018, this will likely be the most difficult record to break. It almost seems as though there's this invisible wall between athletes running in the 1500 and breaking 3:26.6. Only 4 athletes have ever broken 3:27, but to take off practically 3/4 of a second from his PB, this will require some incredible pacing, and he will need to have next to no issues when racing. Also, and this is important to recognize, but Jakob is now 25. His speed is likely still there, but it might not be as potent as it once was. For El Guerrouj's world record, he achieved this time when he was only 23, and this subtle age gap does make a difference. As Jakob gets older, he will likely be more capable over the longer distances, but it might be more of a challenge to get that 3:43. If Jakob can in fact break the records in the 1500, the 1 mile distance, and the 5000, he will go down as one of the all-time legends in distance running. But he clearly has improvements to make. He got into relative decent fitness considering his setbacks this season, but finishing 10th in the 5000 and not even making it out of the heats in the 1500 places him in a position where he needs to show huge improvements moving into next season. If Jakob can truly reach the best of his abilities, I do think he has world record potential in every single one of these events. I think he could probably run a 3:42 in the 1 mile run. There's probably a 3:25 in his legs for the 1500, and for the 5000, part of me wants to say that he could go under 12:30, but I'll just stick to a safe 12:33 for now. Also, and this is actually quite significant, but in 2026, there will be no championship races. There's no Worlds, there's no Olympics. There is the Ultimate Championships from World Athletics, but for an athlete like Ingebrigtsen, next year could be the opportunity to hyper-focus in on one event and potentially throw down an all-time race, which could result in a world record. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time.